We have finally gotten a One Piece chapter and we get to talk about it, so let's talk about chapter 1171. And it's great to be back. I've been loving making the JJK videos, but I've also missed One Piece a lot, so having this chapter come out has just been a great moment, and now we get another JJK episode coming out tomorrow, which is going to be so hype, so I cannot wait. This video is coming out a little bit late because I am sick, so just working around that, trying to get my voice back up, but I'm good now, so I'm able to make this video. And the chapter starts off with great visuals. We get to see the castle and the insides of it in areas in which the Straw Hats and everyone walk through, and we got to see it how it is today, but now we get to see it in the flashback, so it's great. If you've put the pictures side by side, they're actually one-to-one outside of the fact that there's trees growing and like moss building up or whatever around the area, so it's cool to see that visually. I mean, like even the two swords where like Luffy was standing on one sword is apparent in these panels, so that was great. And then the conversations that are having between these characters, those are amazing as well with Shanks and Gabon. I mean, we'll get into that. And then also just, Loki's stuff. We'll get into that as well. Just a phenomenal chapter here. And let's just get into it. The Shanks and Gabon conversation where Shanks is so doubtful of his own life. This is reminiscent of Ace, right? Where Ace was wondering if he should even be born. And now Shanks is going through the same thing, right? When he got to meet Harold in the Holy Land, when he got to talk to his father and his father saying some cruel things about these people that aren't actually highborn, let's say, or celestial dragon born. And Shanks is just like regretting it all and Gabon's comforting him. It's kind of reminding me of that scene where Shanks was crying when he was a kid as well, when Roger came back after his voyage and got the One Piece and comes back and Shanks was crying for some reason. This feels in a similar way where Shanks again is just hurt and he's feeling some type of way, and Gabon is there to support him and saying, "That's your bad habit again. Don't you dare regret your birth." And then Shanks goes, "But why did Harold have to die?" Like, this is such great character dynamic. Getting to see Shanks's character outside of this like cool aura farming guy who's just super strong, seeing a personal side of Shanks is amazing. And just I love this conversation that he had with Gabon, and we got to see insight into the actual dilemma Shanks has of being the Celestial Dragon. Because if you remember too, before all of this, in one of the previous chapters, we got the fact that apparently all the Holy Knights were going after the Roger Pirates, trying to reclaim Shanks, and the Roger Pirates had to fight back. Shanks is dealing with this his whole life. He's been wondering, why do these people want me? And then when he finds out why do these people want me, why was I born? Why was I never normal? Like, why did I have to go through this and that? And it's just, it's so much trauma on a kid, and now we're seeing this on like in adult Shanks just having to deal with it. And just to build on top of this, Gabon coming to him as well and saying, "You still have a role to play, Shanks. I guarantee it. Everyone's life has a meaning." This reminds me of the Pedro moment, right? Where Roger told Pedro everyone has their time, and then in Whole Cake, Pedro did what he did, right? So all of this, it just seems like the Roger Pirates know something grander than we do. Obviously they know, but it seems like there is something out there that they found out where they know exactly how everything might play out and what people might be able to do. I mean, given the fact that Gabon, when he saw Luffy in his white form, he said, "Oh, all white, huh?" And then dropped the key and was like, "You can have it." The fight with Luffy and Zoro and Gabon ended instantly right when Gabon saw the Sun God. He was like, "Yep, that's the guy we've been waiting for. Have the key. You can save Loki." And even just going through all this too, Loki did nothing wrong. So it's just, all of this is just like a test. It's like a seeing who these people are. And it's just great stuff. The complexity of these character dynamics with each other, and the way Oda just knows the story he's writing and the stuff that happens before is already like in context of what we'll find out in the future, has always been great. So this was some good stuff. And I know I've been harping on this one page because this is just a 2-page, right? But it's kind of like a double page. But this one page has so many great moments when now we get the moment where Loki is sitting there with his hands on his face, crying. And he says, "This is what he gets for loving his country." What a moment. I mean, this is amazing. Also, let's point out the sun tattoo on his shoulder, his left shoulder. All right, move on from it now. So the fact that, oh my God, I mean, just Loki considering the fact that you put so much love into this country. You could be a man that's pours so much into something, and all you get left with is death. All you get left with is your body betraying you from what you want to do. He knew Harold. He that was his father. He looked up to him to a certain degree, and he knew the good man he was and the good he was trying to do for Elbaf. And all he got for that was death, for him to lose his body, to kill many of his guards, and for his son to have to take his own life. I mean, what a tragic moment, and what a character these two were. Beautiful moment too. Some people have been pointing out Rox's whole outfit, or sorry, spoiler alert, Loki's whole outfit is in reminiscence of Rox. The belt, the pants, everything is literally what Rox wore. All he was missing was the black feathery cape, which now we see is on his father after the death. So he had the full Rox drip, but he had to give the coat up for his father because he wanted to, not disgrace him or anything and, cover his body in his final moments. Amazing stuff here. And then somehow, someway, Oda figures out how to transition us back to Marijois, and we see Emu huffing and puffing and just being in awe and in distraught that he has lost a soldier. He has lost Harold, which is weird because he did not actually know of it. He was not aware of it. He took the damage and he was affected by the loss of Harold, which is a different topic, but he was informed by the elders that they lost Harold, which means, we knew this from last chapter because Harold said, I'm not being controlled, my mind is just being altered to think this way, but that means Emu has no direct control and Emu has no direct sight of what is happening to this person. It's more of his influence is basically fixing or changing his brain chemistry to think that way. And Emu isn't even aware of it until the elders found out, and elders were like, hey, Emu, this is happening. And Emu was like, you're telling me that we lost this warrior? Like, who is in Elbaf? What is in Elbaf? And he's like, we can't sacrifice more soldiers or holy knights because these people have covenants with me, and if we lose more people, I will be the one taking damage. This is some strange stuff that's going on, and stuff that, I don't think anyone has even, foreseen, right? We lost Saturn in Egghead, which I think didn't hurt Emu because that was Emu's way of taking the power and then possibly giving it to Garling. But in this scenario, given that it was a death that was not by Emu's hand, that he revoked power, he actually took damage, which could be insight on how we defeat Emu. And we get some great moments here too with Emu where he gets to actually showcase why Emu is at the top, right? Emu is showing some leadership or even some political knowledge in everything where he's saying that, given Harold's actions, it deemed him a heretic, but at the same time, given that his tribe was a warrior tribe and the blood of warriors run through them, carelessly incorporating him in the government will cause internal collapse and all this ancient giant thing, and how, Harold should have never been the king and stuff. What came of it, history does not lie, our kinds are incompatible, and just ends it with saying, never forget that Elbaf is D. What? What is that? What are you talking about, Elbaf is D? What does that even mean? It's not Elbaf is a D or Elbaf is part of the D clan. It's no, Elbaf is D. What does that mean? Does that mean everyone in Elbaf is a D? Jaguar D Binks? Jaguar D Sol? I don't want to get started on the Jaguar D Binks theory, but Jaguar D Sol, what does this mean for Elbaf? And what does this mean for a lot of these people in this story, right? What I've had a conversation with someone today about this where it could be possible that Elbaf might have been a person, because back in Little Garden, they mentioned how, Dorian Brogy were saying Elbaf is the god of, or the warrior god of war is Elbaf. They said the god of war is Elbaf, which is stating that Elbaf is a person, which could mean that in history, in the ancient history of giants, Elbaf was a person and they might have been blank D Elbaf or something, or Elbaf D blank. I don't know, but this is very interesting stuff. Someone also brought up, we have that Library of Ohara thing, or the One Piece wiki, where we show all the people of the D clan and all the people of the Kankasaki or whatever. Are we just throwing all giants into the D list now? Every giant is a D, or are we just throwing Elbaf, the island? The island itself is D. What does this mean? We won't even touch up on this for 3 years now. Oda will just leave this here for us, and we won't get back into it for another 3 years. So that's great. And then we get some small moments that really don't have much to say about it, where it's, just Loki saying, put the blame on me, don't put this on my father, let his legacy live on, I'll take the powers I have and go avenge my dad, yada, yada, yada. This might be why Shanks stops Loki and locks him up, probably in the sense of, it's not time to do this, you need to wait for the like, the perfect time to do this, and it's probably when Luffy shows up. So, all that stuff. Harold now actually knows, not Harold, Hajridon now knows that Loki isn't, killing his father in cold blood, and Hajridon agrees. This is very interesting now. Luffy was awake and paying attention to what we can understand, paying attention to this flashback. This might be the first and only time Luffy has ever done that. Whenever there's been a flashback, whenever there's been any sort of this character's past, Luffy has either gone to sleep or has been not apparent in the area in which the flashback is being told. This is the first time where Luffy is actually there listening into a flashback. Can we make Loki a Straw Hat? Like, this has never happened before. I mean, maybe that's a sign that Loki won't be a Straw Hat. But are you kidding me? This is insane. Luffy actually listened to a flashback and did not fall asleep, did not get bored, did not tell them to stop talking, and did not just leave. He listened in and was like, all right, this guy's the GOAT. I can get behind this. And, the stuff leading to it happened. I mean, Hajridon's people also, apologized and were like, oh, we're sorry for always disrespecting you for thinking that you killed your dad, but we also don't forgive you for all the negative stuff that you've done, because outside of all this, Loki also caused a lot of chaos within Elbaf. So this was some good stuff between all the characters, and, we get some more stuff where Loki finally gets unchained, Luffy's happy about it, that's pretty hype, and then a Draugr falls down, this was crazy, right? The Draugr falls down into Elbaf, or into the underworld of Elbaf, and they're like, whoa, what is that, a Draugr? And then Loki's like, everyone go, I'll get up there, I can fly. This, I don't think it's too big. I think this is just more confirmation that he could have Fenrir or the other two, that it's not coming to my head right now, but the two wolves, the sons of Fenrir, because they can also walk on air technically, right? They can fly. So this doesn't discredit the whole mythological wolf fruit. This is just more of like okay, cool, he has flying abilities. And now we get the final moments of this chapter, which was amazing, where he goes in with Ragnir and just slams it into the Draugr, and the word is Nibelheim. The attack is called Nibelheim. This is amazing. If you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, you should be hyped. I've heard that this might be just, Oda's misunderstanding of the difference between Niflheim and Nibelheim, because Final Fantasy VII used, very much Norse mythological locations in their stories, like Midgard, and then now Nibelheim and Niflheim. Niflheim is the, the icy hell of Norse mythology. But the fact that he named it Nibelheim, I'm just going to go with the fact that Oda is a Final Fantasy VII fan, which has been confirmed from a conversation he had in the past about in 1997 he was addicted to a Final Fantasy game, which was when Final Fantasy VII came out. But this is a Final Fantasy VII reference. Let's go. This is GOAT, GOAT recognized GOAT. Right? This is peak. So I love this. This was just great stuff here. And that's where the chapter ends. And guess what? Another 2-week break. That's great. All in all, just an amazing chapter. Great chapter. This is the second chapter of the year, and the third chapter of the year will come out in 2 weeks. I mean, if outside of the whole holidays and stuff, obviously Oda needs his breaks. So anything that Oda needs, obviously take your breaks. This is perfectly fine. I'll wait a month if I have to, as long as Oda's in good health. But this was just great stuff. I'm excited for the next chapter in 2 weeks. I can't wait to see what happens. We're finally out of the flashback, not in a negative way, but in a positive way, in which hey man, can't wait to see what's going to happen next, because now we get to see my GOAT Luffy and now my GOAT Loki going at it with whatever is happening up top. So just amazing stuff. Love this chapter. 10 out of 10. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my JJK video. But if you don't tune in for my JJK videos, I'll catch you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you.